Hey, what's happening, guys? What's going on YouTube? You guys have tuned into Rules for Rebels. We got a couple different stories we're going to be talking about with you guys today. And I do have kind of limited time, so we're going to try to make it through as much as we can. Number one, WeWork is closing 40 office locations in the U.S. as they struggle to fill office spaces. WeWork is an interesting company. I don't recall off the top of my head the full story and kind of all the drama behind them. I know they had a disastrous IPO. I want to say there was some crazy fraud or something like that going on. If I'm not mistaken, I think there was a Netflix or Amazon documentary about the whole WeWork saga. It's on my watch list. I've never saw it. If you guys kind of know the details or any kind of funny anecdotes or stories about WeWork, go ahead and drop them in the comments down below. Another story we're going to be talking about, Elon Musk, and I thought this was kind of related. Elon Musk, in his first official email to Twitter employees, is calling everybody back into the office. Everybody will have to be back into the office at least 40 hours per week. And people on Twitter are losing their minds about this. I think it kind of makes sense. Twitter, we keep hearing about quiet quitting. I suppose having people back in the office is, you're going to piss some people off, but it's one way to kind of make sure people are engaged. You can't really tell if people are engaged or tuning out or quiet quitting or half-assing it at home as easily as you can in the office. Another thing, Twitter is going through such a dramatic shift, right? It went from being, I guess, depending on where your views are on politics and free speech and a number of other issues, it either went from a clusterfuck to a free speech platform and a good platform, or it went from a utopian platform to a clusterfuck, I guess, depending on, again, what you think about Elon Musk and what you think about free speech. And I thought this kind of tied into the WeWork story. When we get into this WeWork story in a moment here, I would kind of think that all these companies going remote and giving up their office spaces might be good for a company like WeWork. But at the same time, it seems like everybody wants to work from home now. Everybody wants to work remotely. Office leases are typically signed for 5-year, 10-year periods. So I'm guessing WeWork isn't able to take advantage of the cheap office space or cheap commercial space available right now. They're probably already locked into expensive leases. And we're looking like, a lot more layoffs are going to start happening. We're already seeing like a stream of layoffs across various companies. So maybe, workspaces aren't really in demand. And then kind of the last story, and I don't know if we'll have time to get into this one, and I may actually turn this into a story of its own. Before the Elon Musk Twitter deal went through, we had heard that the U.S. Justice Department, the White House, the government might challenge the deal. Basically, they were butthurt that Elon Musk no longer wanted to spend $80 million of his own money every month providing Starlink satellites to Ukraine. Elon Musk also started talking about, maybe we should work out a peace deal. The U.S. defense industry, all these companies, the White House, and all of the politicians who likely get kickbacks and pocket money from companies like Raytheon and others, they definitely don't want to hear about peace talks. So the fact that Elon Musk was talking about peace talks between Ukraine and Russia meant, according to the government, that he was a Russian sympathizer and maybe we shouldn't let him buy Twitter. And also the fact that there was a Saudi prince who was involved in the Twitter deal. The White House took issue with that, even though this Saudi prince was a previous owner of Twitter and has owned Twitter basically since the beginning. So clearly this is kind of political, which is kind of scary that Biden, the White House, the Department of Justice, we know pretty much the FBI, the Department of Justice, all of these government organizations have been politicized, but it's kind of scary that Biden, the White House, Department of Justice, is basically getting butthurt about things and then using the full force of the U.S. government to try to fuck with Elon Musk's deal. Before we get into today's story, yesterday I made the story about how Redfin had laid off 27% of its workforce since June. The most recent cut was 13%. They'd also done another cut of 13 or 14% back in June, and I think I had talked a little bit about the stock price, and I was shocked at how low Redfin stock got yesterday. And I talked all about the stock price, catching falling knives, etc. I think right now is going to be a great time for swing trading. As earnings come out, as layoffs happen, I think there's going to be a lot of news stories made. A lot of people are going to get emotional and overreact to hearing some of this news. Stock prices are going to tank. but they're going to quickly rebound. And I really wanted to get a trade in yesterday for Redfin. I always tend to have some free time around 1 or 2 in the afternoon, which I'm on Central Time, so Eastern Time, that's an hour ahead. So I'm always kind of wrapping up my videos with maybe a half hour left in the day to still get a trade in. And I didn't have my my book of passwords with me. I couldn't get into one of my investment accounts, and also I was in the car, so I was going to have to use my phone's internet to connect to my computer. I just kind of got lazy, and I was like, oh, I'll probably be able to pick it up at the same price tomorrow. We're looking at Redfin stock right now, and we're making this video as of it's about 1:30 Central Time on November 10th. But on the day, Redfin stock is up like 33% or 37%. So that would have been a nice swing trade. And keep an eye on when big news comes out about layoffs or bad earnings come out. If you see an overreaction to these, there might be a good opportunity to jump on things for a swing trade. If you look at Facebook was down to like $88, within the past week or two. I think it's trading at 109 right now. So there seem to be a lot of overreactions in the market and some opportunities to make money. Let's take a look at this story about WeWork. This one comes to us from Zero Hedge. WeWork will close 40 locations in a struggle to fill offices. Office leasing company WeWork Inc., which still manages to survive after a failed 2019 IPO and then a collapse in valuation, went public via a SPAC merger with Boex acquisition last year. Shares in the company are down more than 70% on the year, with the latest news the company struggles to fill office spaces. On Thursday, WeWork announced 40 underperforming office locations, or approximately 41,000 workstations, will be mostly closed by the end of the month. The closures come as the co-working company missed Wall Street expectations in the third quarter. The company is miserably failing at the return to office push. It reported $817 million in sales for the quarter, missing Bloomberg's analyst estimates. The company is a money pit, losing $629 million compared with an average estimate of $360 million. WeWork is trying to shrink its real estate footprint and cut headcount as it grapples with long-term lease obligations of $15.57 billion as of September. I don't think WeWork is going to make it through this recession. WeWork shares are down more than 15% in the session, honing in on a new all-time low. I would stay away from this stock. Again, I don't think WeWork is going to make it through the recession. And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about remote work. What are your guys' offices, your guys' companies doing? If you own a business, if you have employees, what are you doing with your employees? There was a period for the past couple months when I think a lot of companies were calling people back into the office. But it seems like if you haven't been called back to the office at this point, your company's probably staying remote. I have a number of friends who it looks like they're going to be permanently remote. I do have a couple friends who their offices are still talking about getting people back into the office by the end of the year, but I'd love to hear what your guys' experiences with this have been. And that kind of leads us to the next story about Elon Musk banning remote work. This article, again from Zero Hedge, is titled "Musk Bans Remote Work in the First Email to Twitter Staff as the Road Ahead is Arduous." And I think I kind of started talking about this a little bit earlier. I think with the big cultural shift going on at Twitter, I know a lot of people cringe at the word company culture. I do think, even though Twitter has been kind of a disaster, I do think a quote-unquote cool or hip company like Twitter, a company that has such an important role in kind of global discussions around everything from politics to news to everything else, I do think when you get a job at a company like Twitter, it's more than just a job. You're not just going in to work your 8 hours a day from 9 to 5 and punching out, right? It's very important that you work for Twitter. You're kind of it's a big part of your identity that you're a tech employee, you work for Twitter. And again, there's a huge cultural shift going on at Twitter right now. And so I can see why Elon Musk would want to bring people back in to kind of shape this new kind of company culture. And to make sure people don't quiet quit, since I imagine probably 90 to 95% of Twitter employees are probably butthurt about the change. They don't like free speech, and they don't like the new direction that the company is going in. And the reason that I say that is there's no way that you could be a free speech advocate or a libertarian or a conservative or even just a logical, rational person and have worked at Twitter for the past 10 years. So let's hop into this article. Before Elon Musk changed his Twitter bio to Chief Twit, Twitter had established a permanent work-from-home arrangement for employees, but with half the employees fired in a move to reduce costs due to advertising revenue declines, Musk sent an email to all remaining employees to report to the office immediately. On Wednesday evening, Musk sent out the first email to employees about difficult times ahead and the end of remote working unless he approved it, according to Bloomberg. The new rules were enacted immediately, requiring employees to be in the office for at least 40 hours per week. Now, where I think this gets a little bit tricky is I'm guessing a lot of the Twitter employees maybe moved away from San Francisco, moved away from the Twitter offices because they had been told they could work from home permanently. Obviously, the company is under new ownership. Elon Musk can do whatever he wants. But if you now live a couple hours from Twitter headquarters, what do you do? I do believe that Elon Musk made a caveat that if you are disabled or unable to make it into the office, live too far away from the office, or Elon Musk had signed off on it already, you are allowed to continue working from home. Musk's leadership is in the second week. Last week, he fired half the workforce, or about 3,700 jobs, to drive down costs following his $44 billion acquisition. The company has launched an $8 subscription service for Twitter Blue and attached user verification to it to drive higher revenues. He told employees his goal for subscriptions is to make up at least half of Twitter's revenue. Now, we had heard rumblings and rumors that initially Elon Musk was going to lay off 75% of the staff. He only wound up laying off 50% of the staff, but kind of the general thought or the general idea here is that he laid off 50% of the staff by requiring everybody to come back into the office through voluntary attrition or people leaving on their own. He'll probably wind up shedding another 20 to 25%. Although with all the layoffs in tech and the direction that the economy and the job market is heading, even if you hated Elon Musk, I don't know if you want to leave your cushy job at Twitter, your cushy high-paying job at Twitter, and go back out into the workforce when pretty much every major tech company is bloated and laying off workers. Musk's leadership is okay. So we talked about that. The move to a subscription model comes as advertisers including General Mills, Pfizer, Mondelez International Inc., and General Motors have paused their advertising spending on the social media platform. Musk tweeted last Friday that there has been a massive drop in revenue. On Wednesday, market research firm Insider Intelligence slashed its annual revenue outlook for the company by 40%. The road ahead is arduous and will require intense work to succeed, Musk told his employees. In another email, he added, over the next few days, the absolute top priority is finding and suspending any verified bots, trolls, or spam. Musk announced earlier this year at Tesla Motors that working from home was not an option. Musk's attempt to transition Twitter from an ad-powered business to a subscription model will have its challenges. Another interesting thing about Twitter, Twitter just filed for a money transmitter license. A money transmitter license is what these buy now, pay later services have. It's what merchant processors have. It allows you to process payments. So a company like Stripe is a money transmitter. A company like PayPal is a money transmitter. We know that Elon Musk has a background coming from PayPal. Elon Musk was part of the Peter Thiel and the PayPal mafia. And so Musk actually has a background in payments. One thing that's kind of cool is Elon Musk gets things done. Whether you like what he's doing or not, whether you like him or not, he takes actions and he gets things done. And again, Elon Musk has only owned Twitter for 2 weeks, and you may not think they're good changes, but Elon Musk has already started rolling out changes, and it appears that something like Twitter Pay is on the way. So not sure if that's going to be like a tipping system between people to where people can tip each other Dogecoin. Maybe it's a payment service to where, if I sell a course online, or if I sell some type of digital good, I can be paid through Twitter Pay. I'm guessing you maybe will be able to send money or even send crypto through tweets. Meet Kevin made a video about that today. If you want some more details on that, you can check out his video. There's very little information about this out there yet, aside from Elon Musk filing with the FinCEN, Financial Enforcement, Money, Crimes, whatever. So yeah, so that's another big development with Twitter. I got to get running, so we're gonna wrap up the video. But we covered a bunch of stuff. I will link to stories about each one of these kind of topics that we discussed today, from WeWork shutting down offices to Elon Musk banning remote work, and we didn't get a chance to touch on the story about Biden wanting to investigate Elon Musk for being a threat to national security. I'll try to include a link to an article about that in the description box below. We'll definitely be covering that on a future video, and maybe we'll dedicate a whole video to it. So again, drop your comments, drop your thoughts, drop your opinions, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you're not subscribed, click the subscribe button down below, ring the bell, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.